We are part of a public diplomacy class, so that was the whole idea of a trip, to go down there and try to talk with the locals and with people from Cuba.
So you pack your bags, you're ready to go, you step off the plane. What is your first impression of this country?
My first impression of the country, and when I say this I mean it in the best way possible, is it's simple. Everything is very beautiful. There's trees, palm trees everywhere, and the nice cars, and the people are definitely friendly.
Were you well received?
What I loved most about the Cuban people is that they really gave you what they didn't have. Their situation there is very difficult, but they are so positive and so embracing of visitors and guests. The controversy and the conflict is really between governments and not really between people, and I think that was a very clear distinction when we were there.
What were some of the biggest challenges that the people told you they were facing?
Their situation in general, in terms of the economy, in terms of getting a stable job, in terms of getting a job that pays well, being able to support their family, feed their family. I think that's what really needs to change.
We came 2 months after the talks between Cuba and America had been finished, and relations opened up, and everybody was very hopeful, very excited about the future. They talk about the day, December 17th, like where were you on the day? What were you doing? I couldn't believe it happened. We were all watching the news.
We were all gathered around. We were at a seminary and everybody was gathered around, and they looked at each other and said, it was the first day we saw Obama on TV, and we were just so happy. Life has become quite stagnant in the way that their practice have been, and all of a sudden there's this shift. And so that gives them hope.
Did you see the influence of the church there, of the Catholic Church, as you walk through the streets, as you talk to the people?
The influence that the Catholic Church has in Cuba has really been able to spread since the back-end conversations that the Pope has been able to have in influencing this shift in diplomatic relations.
It's so encouraging to see how enthused you all are about the fact that this is a beautiful people, a very humble people, people that have learned to live with their history and with the challenges that the history brought. You hit the lottery and all of a sudden things change. You know, you start wanting different things, you start wanting more things, and you lose who you are at your core. My concern is the country may lose who it is at its core with this grand new change coming. Is that a concern for you too?
If that's going to be the case, I think it will take maybe generations on. But right now, I think the people are they're so aware of how they've been living for the past 50 years. It's all they've known. So I think getting an influx of newness or abundance is not automatically going to just shift their brain, the way their brains are. I think they have a good, they're going to actually be able to have a good balance, because they'll be able to view how they were and what they have now, and be more appreciative of what they have.
You know, you made an excellent point ahead of our formal interview here, in that you say what we do as a people is we look at the country through these highly technologically advanced, westernized eyes, and we try to decide what it is they need without really understanding them at their core. And it's a misplaced perception. Talk to me a little bit about that.
When we're trying to understand the Cuban people, we should maybe try to raise all that we know as normal, all that we've come to know as comfortable, and almost view ourselves, go in with a blank mind, view ourselves as children, and watch the way that they are so we can understand them better, as opposed to imposing on them or trying to understand them from the way that our brain works. If the developers and the policymakers and business people listen to the Cuban people, or actually watch the way that they are and see what their best interests are, they could have proper and sustainable development that could last for a really long time.
If you were given an opportunity now to sit down with heads of states, with dignitaries, with clergy, and they ask you, based on your trip to Cuba, your 8-day trip, what should we change? Where should change begin? What would you tell them?
I think hearing directly from the people is a really important aspect of it. As Cuba is opening its doors to the world, really. I think we have to be very cautious with those who want to take advantage of the situation, and those who may be going there with not the best intentions, and really with a capitalism kind of mindset.
If I could collaborate, I would definitely help out with the Catholic Church more, because they are very big in pushing change throughout Cuba?
I think we start with our basic needs. We start with safety, housing, shelter, and food, so they can feel human. They feel themselves, be inside themselves, feel the ground beneath them, and then you move forward.